Tonight, the family of an innocent truckie killed in the crossfire left outraged by a jury's leniency.
And instead of shooting their own people, which I wish they did, right, they shot my...
Families out in the cold as an air conditioning giant hits the skids.
This world is a very, very nasty world at the moment.
The golden child in our public transport family, the buses that Sydney commuters are raving about.
And the graffiti vandals who'll make your blood boil. They're now using heavy artillery for maximum destruction.
But first, Sydney truckie Bob Knight did nothing wrong except sit in his rig at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was killed by a stray bullet fired in a nearby gang fight in the city's west.
Today, a jury decided that his killer was not guilty of murder, instead convicting him of a lesser charge. And that has distressed Mr Knight's still grieving family. Danielle Isdale has the story. Still to come, a 10 exclusive. The state government upsets some of Sydney's most vulnerable. Plus, a portrait of persistence. Wait till you see what this Aussie grandmother has just done. And later in sport, head over heels. Mark Webber cashes in Monaco.
This is 10 News. Well, Vic LaRusso is above Revesby tonight, and there is a problem on one of the worst roads in Sydney that Lachlan Kennedy mentioned in a recent report. Vic.
Yeah, Billy, it's the M5, and it does rate in one of the top 5 worst roads in Sydney. And heading west tonight, there has been an accident just at the River Road at Revesby. It's not going to help the cause for motorists out into the southwest, that's for sure. We can see at the moment that as a result of those flashing lights to the right of screen, we have traffic queues all the way back now into the M5 tunnel and through to the airport approaches. So a significant wait for traffic heading into Campbelltown tonight. I've had a look at the alternative routes, Canterbury Road and the Hume Highway being the better option. Vic LaRusso from the carcity.com.au chopper.
The state government is being accused of ignoring some of Sydney's most vulnerable by refusing to upgrade one of the city's busiest railway hubs. Redfern Station is a nightmare for the disabled and the elderly, and the O'Farrell government doesn't seem to care. Well, 10's John Hill exposed this story more than a year ago, and as you're about to see, nothing has changed.
This is how Denise Beckwith travels to work. Unable to climb stairs at Redfern, she rides to Central and catches a taxi to her office, close to Redfern Station. That was a year ago. Today she was at it again.
I am unable to get to work via Redfern Station because it's not accessible. It still doesn't have lifts in it, which is really disappointing.
Mums with prams struggle and older people find the stairs difficult to manage.
It's terrible because it's an area where mostly elderly people live.
Now a community group is fighting for a station upgrade.
People with disabilities are virtually banned from the station. You can't come down 2 sets of stairs and get back up in a wheelchair.
Janine Davies is recovering from hip surgery and travels to work one step at a time.
This is a bit of a joke because I actually work over there, so I have to go up these stairs and then down those stairs and then back up those stairs, so it's not great.
A multi-million-dollar upgrade, including the installation of 4 access lifts, is underway at nearby Sydenham Station, but so far no sign of any work at Redfern. Redfern wasn't included in a $100 million upgrade of stations the government announced a month ago.
Redfern is one of the largest stations. It has very challenging issues around access and the engineering required to do that properly. We've made sure that we've started the process for planning.
And with the minister unable to say when lifts will be built at Redfern, it looks like Denise will be catching a cab for a long time to come. John Hill, 10 News.
Well, the O'Farrell government has been urged to spend big in the budget to stimulate the economy.
10 state political reporter Josh Murphy is at Macquarie Street. Josh, where exactly is the Premier being asked to open those purse strings?
Well, Sandra, basically on major road and rail projects that have been talked about for decades but have never been delivered. The Labor opposition is calling on the Premier to bring forward spending on projects like the M5 tunnel duplication as well as the Epping to Parramatta rail link, all to bring the New South Wales economy out of the doldrums. Now, the opposition leader has also claimed that government debt has blown out by $1.9 billion, while at the same time infrastructure spending has dropped by $1.5 billion. Here's Labor leader John Roberts.
Barry O'Farrell has given New South Wales a mortgage, but he isn't building the house. That's why next month's budget must bring forward spending.
Now, given the budget constraints we've been hearing about, scope to do that will be limited, and that's backed up by a statement we received from the Treasurer this afternoon, which said that Labor for 10 years lived beyond its means, and we're determined to live within ours. Now, exactly how the O'Farrell government plans to do that will be outlined in the coming weeks in the lead up to the budget. Bill and Sandra.
Josh Murphy, thank you.
Fans who haven't bought tickets to the next State of Origin game could end up paying for it. As Jessica Turner reports, ticket prices for the Sydney game are increasing as the game draws closer. And that's all because of a new plan by the NRL.
Tim Bailey's here with the weather now. Tim, we loved your work on the weekend, but this has been a Monday delivered straight from the shivering south.
It was a wind that sent seagulls sideways. Good evening, everybody, and the southerly still chilling the air of Sydney as we go to air this evening. It blasted. Have a look at these figures. 50 kilometres an hour across Newcastle, 43 kilometres an hour through the airport and on the harbour. At the moment, 24 kilometres an hour, and it is loaded with goosebumps. The good news is we've got a big high sitting over the Australian Bight. It's going to pump out blue skies. Coastal showers, they'll be isolated and probably centering around the central and northern coasts of New South Wales, probably north of Sydney town. Let's have a look at the map of New South Wales today. The minimum and max temps -3 to 12 at Orange. Sydney did 9 through to 19, bang smack on average. Canberra -2 to a top of 14 degrees. The state's high, Lismore 21 degrees. Charlotte Pass -7 degrees. Good news for snowmakers, and the resorts are starting to pump it out as we get ready for the opening of the Australian snow season. That's the Queen's birthday long weekend. I'll see you again 5 to 6.
Thank you, Tim. Coming up, how the latest job losses affected the market today. That's in the CommSec Finance Report.
She's knocked it off. The Aussie granny, who's on top of the world.
And what did Rolf Harris wobbling onto stage in Britain?
Well, the Eurovision Song Contest has come and gone, and believe it or not, it probably will do little to boost investor confidence levels. But having said this, the Aussie market actually rose for the very first time in 4 sessions today, up in the order of 1%. Now, this probably has more to do with the fact that some new polls were out showing that the pro-bailout party in Greece are currently the favourites to win the Greek elections next month. Now, Friday will be a big day for markets because we'll have the latest reading on the manufacturing sector in China, and this is important because China buys more than a quarter of everything that Australia exports overseas. Now, most of the largest sectors did well today. We had the energy, mining and also financial stocks, which make up about 65% of the Aussie market, all gaining in excess of 1%. Now, Qantas's budget airline Jetstar is being taken to court for allegedly letting cabin crew recruited in Thailand be paid significantly less than its Australian staff. Now, the Aussie dollar currently buys 98.6 US cents. That's around a cent higher than on Friday. Gold currently trades at $15.80 US an ounce, and oil costs just 91 US a barrel.
Still to come, hundreds lose their jobs as one multi-millionaire says, stop your whinging.
Plus, we take you to the spectacular underwater world that Sydney divers can now explore.
And recognition for Rolf. The Aussie entertainer collects one of Britain's top gongs. Tonight's headlines, the family of Sydney truck driver Bob Knight is furious. His killer has been found guilty of manslaughter and not murder.
Believe it or not, the political guillotine appears to be hanging over Julia Gillard's leadership once again.
And thousands more families are feeling the sharp pain of unemployment tonight after air conditioning company Hasty went bust. Sports tonight now with Brad McEwen, and talk about bad timing. A Roosters player facing serious charges.
Bill, among the charges, assault and also breaching an AVO. He has been stood down from tonight's match against the Dogs. We'll tell you who it is next. And the cat who could end up on the catwalk. He was a bunny, now a panther. and he's on the prowl. Plus, soaking it up, Mark Webber's historic Monaco win. Ahead, how he stayed clear of the trouble that lay around every corner on the tight circuit.
Had a lazy day at work? Well, tonight on The Project, just how much are unproductive workers costing the economy? And we take a trip back to 1992. All that and more after the news.
The Roosters have dropped New South Wales Origin shadow player BJ Leilua for tonight's clash with the Bulldogs following a weekend arrest. He's facing a number of charges, including assault. Leilua is also accused of spitting at his former girlfriend and distributing intimate photos of her on his mobile phone. In other news, Cowboys big man James Tarmo is eligible for Game 2 of Origin after escaping a late tackle charge on Benji Marshall. But Manly centre Steve Matai has been slapped with a Grade 4 careless high tackle charge. He's facing a 3-week ban. At the Raiders, it looks like troublesome duo Blake Ferguson and Josh Dugan will be recalled for Saturday's clash with the Wests Tigers. The club initially didn't put a time frame on their ban after they were caught breaking the team's alcohol policy. But after the weekend's big loss to the Bunnies, team officials say they are more than a 50% chance of being named. Sorry about that. Not good. Now, if you have a play of the day, send it to our Facebook page. Tries, goals, birdies, aces. If you were a star on the weekend or failed miserably, we'd like to see it. And show everyone else I was a sporting dud, but you two were gifted. So maybe you've got something you could send in.
I was gifted but unlucky. That's how I like to put it.
It's a nice way of saying it,
That's how
Bill.
memory saves you, Bill.
Yeah.
Oh, the older you get, the better you get.
Yeah, that's it. Coming up next, the first Australian to become a BAFTA Fellow.
Eye on the sky, and we
Kiss MS goodbye.
It's all happening after the break, live from Luna Park.
This weather report is proudly brought to you by Dettol No Touch. Making hand washing so easy, kids want to do it by themselves.
You are back live with the weather and a very, very good cause. But first, we'll keep our eye on the sky, let you know what's happening. That southerly dominated today, got to around about 43 kilometres an hour across the harbour. Temperatures bang smack on average 19 degrees. Well, not changing a thing in the west. We are kissing goodbye to MS. That's a very good thing. We'll see you at the run on Sunday. Thanks for having us.
That's 10 News for this Monday, May 28. We'll have updates throughout the evening, but stick around now because right up next is the gang at the project.
Unproductive workers, how much do they cost the economy? We'll have that there. In the meantime, good night.